Day the 6th, Marty and Scooter don't die in the woods. The revenge tour. Shoal to Wendigo. So that's what it looks like on day number 6. You can see that, yeah? Yep, good. Okay. So we started off in the morning and basically straight shot north out of the park to Wendigo, where my car was parked. And we basically did that by lunchtime.
Yep.
Right. So I think we actually ate lunch. I don't think it was that one. I think it was this one. I think we had lunch.
Right. Yep.
And then straight shot up, and I think it was like 1 or something like that by the time we got out. Does that sound right?
That's right.
Yeah, ballpark. Okay, so this day had lots of little portages. There's like a little dinky one. It was kind of frustrating, that one, actually, because we paddled from our campsite out to where we were fishing and literally had to unpack everything. So it was like 60 seconds of canoeing, unpack, 60 seconds of portaging, repack, and then up to here. And then there's these dinky 330, 230, 390, right? In and out, in and out, in and out. But after that, it was fine, right? And then you're like 700, whatever.
Some of those are quite rocky, a little bit different than what we had done before, and that just kind of boulders upon each other that we went through there.
Yep. So that is, I need to orient myself here now.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually put a picture in of us leaving our campsite.
No, this is definitely
further on
the way. Yeah. So that's the North River, and those are some of the, so that you can see that's a campsite. Just if you go back, actually, we can orient that. Go back one to the map.
Wrong way. There we go.
So that is the campsite there that it says reserve this campsite as North River South.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Just on the north side of that portage.
So that's where we are here.
Yeah, and I think top right, we're in the same spot.
Yeah,
maybe.
And that's putting in, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's like here somewhere.
And yeah, off we went.
North River was great, actually. It was a really nice paddle up through here.
Quite small, the river, but lovely.
It was only like one part where it got a bit shallow, and you basically had to follow the path through the grass that other people had made. But the rest of the river was great for canoeing on. It was really nice. Again, a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. Got lucky.
The portages kind of looked like this.
Yeah,
it was
that's
quite
thing. Yeah,
in spots.
Bouldery rather than walk in the woods.
Exactly. And when you would get out, you're climbing up over Canadian Shield, right? So it was a lot of stuff that looked like this. One of the later portages, we ran. I think I pulled the canoe up across and you jumped in up here somewhere, right? Yeah. But through this bit, I think if you had a bit more water on, you could actually shoot a lot of those without any issue. In this case, late August and kind of dry, so better just pull the canoe along through there.
Yeah, but it's better than lugging the stuff on the portage, so that worked out nicely.
Absolutely.
And we gave that advice to a group coming the other way that I believe they took.
Said group, I think. I think this was where we stopped for our lunch.
It was.
Yeah. And when we stopped, there were a group of people that were coming down through here. And I think that was one of the dudes that was coming through.
Right.
So
yeah, there's you. That's the end of the channel that you walked.
That's it. So we put in down here, and I think it was like 250 meters or something of this.
Well, yeah, exactly. We didn't. You let me out down there, and then you walked.
Yeah, exactly. And then when we put in at the top of that, it basically looked like this, and it was like that pretty much everywhere else, except where we were getting out to portage, right? So it was like big rocks, but then when you're in, it was nice and deep and stuff through there.
Yeah, and we thought we might be able to run the next channel, which is that portage, and we were trying to look for a way up, but there's just no way. It was
We couldn't find it. And when we actually gave up on it and went to portage, there were dudes coming back the other way carrying like 2-4s and shit.
Yeah, they were
And I'm like,
not light. They had like ice and and cans of beer, lots and lots of cans of beer.
right.
And they were like, "Where's your stuff?"
And we're like, we've been in here for 5 days. We ain't carrying that. I think they were just coming down North
They
River.
were, yeah.
Yeah, so they weren't like going on a big haul. But when I saw that, I was stunned, because in my head, I'm like, oh, you're going 5 days in the opposite direction. That wasn't what they were doing at all.
No.
But man, even so, though their portages were heavy. They were carrying a lot of weight.
They would not have been able to do Unicorn Hill.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's a well-executed walrus. Better job than the previous.
Well-executed walrus. And that was the last walrus of the trip.
Yeah.
And that's, in fact, the last picture that I have in the slideshow. And I thought that would be a great way to end, because it wasn't long after this heading up that we actually hit Wendigo.
That's right. So you're almost out of the park there. If you go back to the map one more time.
Wrong way. There.
There.
So
that's
where we had our lunch.
180. No, it's the other one. It's up.
It was this one?
Yeah.
I thought that was where we tried to find that place to shoot the rapids.
Yeah, it is.
Other guys.
That's where we had lunch.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It was on the other side of that one. Yeah. So we basically had lunch on the border there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the
Right.
225 that you shot.
Yeah. We shot that one, and then that's where we had our lunch. You're right. Yep. And basically it was a straight paddle from there up to where we'd parked. And when we got out, you were still concerned about your toe, but I was like, F this S. And I just jumped back in the lake and went for a little swim there to cool off before climbing in the cars again for the day.
Yeah, that was.
And maybe it was like 15, 20 minutes. We were packed up and driving back out through here. And for the record, I did this with my Honda Fit. So you can get through there with a dinky little car. You don't need to do anything.
That is a small road. From there to Brent Road is a one track. Often you just see the two.
You hope you don't meet anybody.
Yep.
And you don't really. There's nobody going down through there, so you're pretty good.
Well, on a Saturday, it's not always so lonely. There was I don't remember if it was then or previous or thereafter, but I've seen the whole parking lot there completely full. So
it wasn't full when we were there. There were quite a few cars, but when we pulled in there was a father and a son who had just packed up and were getting ready to book it. They passed us while we were eating and made their way up the lake. So they had a bit of a head start on us, but they were the only people there when we got there, I think.
Yeah. And you can cut this out if you want, because it's a corollary. But what happened to me was once we did the other thing was the Ungren's car had given me a little bit of trouble. It didn't start right away at one point. And so when we were driving back to Brent, I was a tiny bit worried that the car wouldn't start, but it did. And we drove back to Brent, transferred the canoe over to that car, and off we went. And you went to go talk to Jake, but he wasn't open. And then we ended up seeing each other at the park office. And then out we went to different places. And as you mentioned, you went down home, spent one night home, and then drove back up to Brent for a family camp trip. And I drove out, went to the emergency room, got antibiotics, had one night at my mom's house, and then went back in for a family trip with my sisters, nieces, and mother. And that ended up being the extremely mini version of what we did, where We came down North River, where you can see the North River from North River Lake and down, and then out at Wendigo. And that was a very, very, very relaxed 3-day trip. And the second night was on Allen Lake. And there's a couple of campsites actually where it's only seems to be one right through the middle of Allen Lake. There's actually 2 or more very nice island campsites. Mm-hmm. And the third day we got up, and what we had done is the similar thing with the cars, is leave one car at Wendigo and in fact 2 cars at North River. We got up the third day and my little sister says, "Oh no, I just realized I left the key to the car that exists at Wendigo in the car at North River." The whole point is to be able to drive the car from one place to another. So it doesn't help if you don't take the car keys with you. So there we had the decision to try to go up to Wendigo and hitchhike essentially to North River, or go back up the North River to where we had keys accessible for the car. And I wanted to go back up the North River, but my brother-in-law Sam was convinced that it was better to go to a Wendigo, and he ended up being right. We got a ride right away with somebody who went 40 minutes out of their way to drop us off at North River. And then
I think, of course, though, right? if you're in backcountry like that and you see somebody that needs a ride, you give them a ride, right?
So that is, I think, what saved us. If we were in Toronto, we would not have gotten a ride.
The irony, right? Yeah. But so, and after you came out, I think I had texted you that we were at the campsite in Brent on Cedar Lake, and that I had gas bombs, but I bought the wrong gas bomb for my stove top, and you came and dropped one of yours off to me so that we could use that at the campsite. So that was great, because then we got to connect again 4 days afterward. After having our own little family trips, we came back together again, and that was the first time I met your mom in person as well. So that was also really nice.
Yeah, it was lucky actually, because I did not get that text. We just knew you had told me previously which campsite you were at, so I was going to just see if I could say hello, and then I was able to lend you the.
Okay, so I asked you on the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I knew you were coming back out. That was it. But I remember getting your butane stovetop thing from you there. So that was clutch. That was really good.
And you looked like you were having a grand old time with your family on that lovely campsite like that.
It was great. Like, and we had the canoe, and it was like a little shallow bay with a couple little islands off to the side there. So it was good enough that you could wade out and you wouldn't go above your chest. So I'd put the girls in the canoe and just give them a shove. Like you wait for them to swing back down and then swim out and grab them. So we're having lots of fun doing that. That was a good time.
Lovely. Yeah. So a good time was had by all. So, and my toe grew back.
Yeah. So you have lobster genetics. Who knew? So drop a claw and it grows back.
Part Deadpool.
There you go. You're an X-Man.
I'm an X-Man.
Too funny. So that was our 2021 trip. And another great trip. So Algonquin has been fabulous to us. And we are currently, I guess, considering whether we're going to go back through Algonquin this year or if we're going to go to Quebec for different scenery. So, more beer burps.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that.
Stay tuned, loyal viewers.
All 5 of you. Hi, Mom.
Hi,
Mom. Too funny. Okay, so I'll stop sharing, and I guess we can end our video there.